Hello and welcome to the School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, or SAIN for short. I am Albert and I will be your mentor on your entrepreneurial journey. SAIN was created by entrepreneurs and skilled professionals with broad experience in creating successful companies. We will teach and guide you on how to create sustainable businesses and make sure that you will avoid mistakes that could kill your idea. Let's begin. Did you know that 29% of founders fail because they run out of cash? Runway is an indication of how long your startup can survive if your income and expenses stay constant. The more cash you have, the longer the runway. 29% of startups ran out of money before they understood the market they were looking to serve. Can you think of ways on how to increase your runway? Bootstrapping, correct. Since early-stage startups usually don't have enough cash, you will need to grow your business while relying on your own savings and revenue to operate and expand. If you don't have customers yet, keep all your expenses to minimum. Before you spend $1, try to find out if there is a way to do it for less or even for free. To avoid having to pay salaries before you start making money, your co-founders should also believe in your vision to the extent that they are willing to get a percentage of the startup instead of cash for the work they will do. To have longer time to achieve product market fit, you will need cash in the bank from either sales or investment. I would advise you to focus first on the sales rather than investment. Firstly, it's a good indication that you have created something that is needed and it can sell. Secondly, you create traction and revenue for your startup, something that will put you in a better position when you will meet with investors. Last but not least, it is easier to sell something to someone with the problem that you are trying to solve rather than going around trying to convince people to invest in a risky business such as startups. You should also keep an eye on the burn rate, which is used to describe the rate at which your startup is spending its capital before making money from operations. You should aim to keep your burn rate as low as possible, especially if you don't have a lot of funds to spend. The ideal, of course, is to have a negative burn rate, which means that you spend less than what you earn. Most of the startups I advised had their pricing wrong, so allow me to clarify a few things about pricing. The variables of pricing are the cost, the price, and the value. The relationship between them affects the growth of your company. Your margin, which is the gap between the cost and the price, is your incentive to sell. The bigger the gap, the higher the revenues. The incentive for your buyers to choose your product is the gap between the price and the value. The value of a product depends on two aspects: the importance of a goal that customers are trying to achieve and the alternative solutions that are available to them in the market. So, the larger the gap between price and value, the easier it is to have your customers choose your product. When it comes to pricing, there are two strategies. The cost-plus pricing is a strategy in which the selling price is determined by adding a specific markup to a product's unit cost. Retailers, for example, are using this method. The value-based pricing strategy sets prices primarily according to the perceived value to the customer rather than according to the cost of the product. Let me give you an example. An industrial robot can be priced based on its ability to generate revenues for its customers. If such a robot can improve customer profits by $1 million, then a price of $500,000 would allow the customer to achieve a return on investment of 100%. A lot of new founders struggle to figure out their initial pricing. Here's a rule of thumb. First, you need to make sure that your customers perceive that the value of what you offer them is 10 times its price. For that, you will need to start your pricing at 10% of the value that you create. So, if you're offering something that saves $10,000, you can start selling it for $1,000. Once you feel comfortable with your pricing and you start having revenue, it's worth it to optimize the price. When and if you will be interested to optimize your price, then you should start practicing raising prices on your next deals by 5%. I suggest you to continue raising prices until you start losing 20% of new deals. Since this is just a rule of thumb, those 5 and 20% numbers are indicative, and you should change them to numbers that you feel more comfortable. Remember, you are after early adopters because they value the benefits more than the price. If you speak to people who are focused only on the price, it could be that you are talking to the wrong customers at this stage. On our next video, we will talk about how to build a winning team. So, stay tuned.